Hey everybody, Preston here to tell you about my second week of my Scare-athon for October, where I'm watching horror movies with a different theme every day. So I'll jump right in. Monday is Maniac Monday, and for the second week of October, I chose American Psycho. I like to think of it as Bruce Wayne instead of deciding to fight crime. What if I just got a Wall Street job and started hacking people up? So it was a lot of fun rewatching this. Uh, I forgot how much of a black comedy this is. Really dark, but funny. I mean, you can't help but laugh uh, when Patrick is going through his whole spiel of all these different popular '80s pop idols at the time, whether it's Huey Lewis or Whitney Houston. And it always seems to precede a kill. So, you know how serial killers have their rituals. It seems to be part of his ritual. And it's also part of he kind of uses it as some kind of rationalization of understanding humanity or something. It's really strange and hilarious at the same time. If you've never seen it, check it out. Alright, so Tuesday is Too Many Zombies Tuesday. I skipped that in week one, so that means I had to double up for my second week. And what I did, I saw two movies on Netflix Instant Watch. I didn't plan this, but they just both happened to be European zombie films. Of course, they were supposed to be zombie films, but the fact that they were foreign and European. First one was The Horde, which is what I had planned to see in week one. French film, enjoyed it quite a bit. A lot of fun. There's these cops who one of their own has been killed, and they know that the head gangster is in this high-rise building, so they plan unofficially, it seems, to do a raid on the building, and try to get revenge, basically. And while they're doing that, a zombie outbreak, for whatever reason, has happened. So what it ends up being is the gangsters and the cops have to kind of work together to fight through this high-rise building to get past the zombies, as well as the building is actually surrounded by zombies as well. It's interesting that this is the third movie I've seen this year that all the action predominantly takes place inside of a high-rise building with characters trying to fight their way out. The Raid, Dread, and now The Horde. Just kind of an interesting link there. All three of those movies I liked quite a bit, I should say. But The Horde is fantastic. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Then I followed that up with Dead Snow. And Dead Snow was a lot of fun as well, for a little bit of a different reason. The Horde took itself a little more seriously. Dead Snow is a little more tongue-in-cheek. It's not quite Shaun of the Dead outright comedy, but it's more the tone like Evil Dead 2, where there's some scares, but there's also some humor, and it's a pretty good combination. Of course, it has to have a sense of humor when the zombies in this are zombie Nazis, which that's the premise. It's the trope of teens going into a secluded area. This is a cabin in the snowy mountains. I'm sorry, I don't know what country this is from. I apologize. But they're isolated, of course, no phone signals, things like that, and of course the zombies rise, the Nazi zombies rise. And if you like blood, guts, brains, it's got all the gore that you can think of in different situations, and all honestly well done. If I had to complain about something, it might be that the zombies, it's kind of hard to pull off kind of realistic, scary looking zombies in bright light. And because they're shooting, a lot of this is shot in the daytime in snow, you know, the zombies kind of don't look as menacing as they could. But beyond that, it's still a lot of fun, a lot of shocking gore and stuff like that. That's all with a sense of humor. So a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I will say this. I was cracking myself up because, you know, I could look at all the guts, the blood, the brains, and things like that. The one thing that made me turn away, like I had to shield my eyes, is snot coming out of somebody's nose. That I just cannot. I can't look at that. So this movie actually made me turn away from the TV. So yeah, so that was Too Many Zombies Tuesday, and then Wednesday is Werewolf Wednesday, and I rewatched a classic, An American Werewolf in London. I've obviously seen it before, and had a lot of fun rewatching it. It's got some of the best practical werewolf transformation footage of any werewolf movie, really. It's that sound of bone snapping and things like that as he's transforming that really make this a cool movie. This is another horror movie, too, that has a sense of humor. I'm assuming most, if not all of you, have seen this movie, but spoiler, if you don't want to know, turn off now, but the main character's friend gets killed early on, but shows up throughout the movie as kind of this ghost who's decomposing throughout the movie, which is just kind of wacky. But a really good movie. It's a classic, so you know, if you're interested in werewolf movies, check it out. And then Thursdays, Bloodthirsty Thursday, and I watched the original Dracula. And unlike my experience with the original The Wolfman, I enjoyed Dracula quite a bit. I think a lot of it boils down to the director. The Wolfman just looked very basic. You know, nothing really that interesting as far as the way it was shot. And that's one of the things I liked about it, is it had an epic feel about it, the scope. There would be shots of, you know, a carriage going down a mountainside road, and what is an obviously matte painting in the background of cliffs and mountains and things like that, but it just adds to the atmosphere. Also, there's some nice camera work, especially for a movie in the 30s, of some slow dollies, especially like the first time you see Dracula. The camera is slowly dollying towards him for that kind of creepy effect. Stuff like that I really like. So the look of it, great. Another thing that was a surprise to me, I've always known about the character of Renfield. You know, Dracula's familiar, his servant, mad servant, basically, who's under his spell. And I don't think I've seen a movie where you saw Renfield before he went mad. In this one, you see him, he's actually the character whose perspective you follow as you meet Dracula. And he's just a normal kind of a big city dandy, really. And I don't know if they said his name early on, but I didn't realize who he was. And as soon as he makes that transformation into Renfield, man, that guy went for it. Talk about chewing scenery. What a fantastic performance. Bela Lugosi as well. Impressed with him. Of course, I'm so used to that stereotype of Dracula. When you watch an original like this, you have to actively think, all right, when this was made, there was no real preconception of how Dracula sounds. It's the Dracula that we all know. And that's what's amazing about that performance, is just realizing you're watching it as it's happening. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about Dracula. It's just that I really liked it. Alright, and for Found Footage Friday, I watched VHS on demand. Really enjoyed it. It's a horror anthology feature and done found footage style. I know that I enjoyed them all, except one I thought was kind of cheesy. The rest of them I enjoyed quite a bit, and there's a range of types of short films, which makes it even more interesting. There's one that's more supernatural horror, one that's more realistic horror, and then there's one that may even be alien horror. It's ambiguous enough you can make up your own mind, but that wraparound story is interesting. I like the way it's set up, and I really wanted to see where it was going to go. There's no real resolution to that. It felt unfinished. So that was a little disappointing. But other than that, the other stories I enjoyed quite a bit. And then Saturday, I watched Supernatural Saturday. I watched or rewatched The Exorcist, and this is my Digibook edition of this. One of my favorite horror movies, and it's always fun to rewatch this. It's always shocking to see some of the stuff in this movie. Especially when you consider it, you have this young actress doing and saying these really vile things, very disturbing things, and it's just crazy that she was able to pull that off and pull it off really well. Linda Blair, of course, who I'm referring to, but William Friedkin really made a great iconic horror movie with this. First time you saw something that dealt with demon possession in such graphic and gritty way. Yeah, if you've never seen The Exorcist, highly recommend it. And then for Subscriber Suggestion Sunday, I watched A Tale of Two Sisters on Netflix Instant Watch. I've been seeing a lot of foreign horror movies throughout this whole Scare-athon, and been really enjoying them. Tale of Two Sisters I enjoyed quite a bit. What kind of sold me on this one was I found out it's directed by a director who directed another movie I enjoyed quite a bit, The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. And what's interesting about it is they're totally different movies. A Tale of Two Sisters is this very dark tale of a girl who's just coming home from a mental institution, and I can't really say too much because it gives stuff away, but she's dealing with the family dynamic now that she's come back from the mental institution, and something horrific has happened, but you really don't know what happened. So again, another one to highly recommend. Like I said, totally different than The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Good and the Bad and the Weird is like this fun adventure film, almost like an Indiana Jones film. So I like directors that can do that, can go from just those extremes. So another successful week for the October Scare-athon. And then for next week, for Maniac Monday, I'm going to watch the original Black Christmas. For Too Many Zombies Tuesday, I'm going to watch the Val Lewton produced film I Walked with a Zombie. For Werewolf Wednesday, I'm going to watch Werewolf of London. And for Bloodthirsty Thursday, I'm going to rewatch The Lost Boys. And for Found Footage Friday, I'm going to watch The Last Broadcast. And for Supernatural Saturday, I'm going to try to watch Ring 1 and Ring 2 back to back. I've never seen Ring 2, so I'll be rewatching the first Ring and then seeing if Ring 2 is worth keeping. I bought it at Big Lots a while back. Alright, so that does it for this week of the Scare-athon. See you later.